Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to the Bone and Joint Decade World Conference. It's an honor for me to be here and to represent the Swedish government. Mrs. Kristina Husmark Persson sends her regards, and she regrets that she couldn't be here today. As you understand, these are very busy times for ministers, since it's just 9 days to the general election in Sweden. I believe Sweden is a suitable country to have this conference, since there has been several important measures taken during the last few years. These measures have had positive effects. The number of people on sick leave has decreased by 50% the last 4 years, and the number of people who claims disability insurance has decreased by more than 100,000. The reason for this change is at least partly policy changes of the government. The focus of the politics during these years has been on active labor market participation. The merits of active measures to help people return to work are often questioned. Let's keep people on disability insurance, since there will be no jobs for them anyway. Of course, we do need to improve the functioning of the labor market and to make sure that there are jobs, even if you have reduced work capacity. But the situation in the labor market, I believe, can never, ever be an excuse for not preparing people for work. I believe the development over recent years have strengthened the proponents of active policies. Active measures can be more expensive, often are more expensive in the short run, but they are also a lot more effective in the long run. Recently, we introduced major social insurance reform in Sweden. The aim of this reform is to prevent people leaving the labor market, as well as making it possible for those already on disability insurance to re-enter the labor market. The Swedish Minister for Social Insurance, Kristina Husmark Persson, has written an article about these reforms in the American magazine AARP International, and perhaps we could put a link to this article. I think it's on the net. The social insurance reforms actually opens up the possibility for 400 Swedish people on disability support to work and to earn income without losing their entitlement to support. You could say it's a kind of negative income tax, if you know the term. You know, I'm an economist. So. These measures that make it possible to move into the labor market are combined with something called a rehabilitation guarantee. It's a state-supported improvement of medical rehabilitation in Sweden. The rehabilitation guarantee supports cognitive behavioral therapy, as well as multidisciplinary approaches to musculoskeletal disorders. The cost for this guarantee is about €10 per citizen per year, a total of €100 million each year. The guarantee is actually financed entirely through that part of the state budget that was originally set aside for social insurance and disability insurance. And the reasoning behind this is quite simple. If we can succeed in getting people back to work, the cost for the social insurance sector will decrease. Thus, we can say that the rehabilitation guarantee is an investment in health that will reduce the costs of bad health in the future and increase the possibility of people participating in active working life. And I believe that this money is very well spent, since we know that these therapies are indeed effective. Society cannot afford to leave all these people outside the labor market. The government wants to continue developing the rehabilitation guarantee, and we are also trying to strengthen the occupational healthcare system to make early intervention easier and more natural. We believe that workplace-focused measures are essential. Some months ago, the Government Council of Inquiry on Rehabilitation presented its first report. You may know the chairman of this council. It's Åke Nygren. And the council's conclusion was that the rehabilitation guarantee has been successful, although we are yet at the very start of the evaluation process. The Council recommends the use of multidisciplinary approaches also for patients with primarily psychiatric conditions. And as you multidisciplinary approaches are already part of the guarantee for patients with chronic pain conditions. Another conclusion from the Council is that the guarantee could be even more focused on the specific groups that are at risk for long-term sickness absence. I know that preliminary results from the MORS project, Ingmar Pettersson can tell you about that, does indicate that the rehabilitation guarantee has greatly improved the quality of life for participants in the guarantee, and we hope that these improvements will translate into permanently improved work capacity and at the end of people being able to return to work. The focus of the Swedish government is on increasing employment and taking measures to increase labour market participation. The Bone and Joint Decade and the 70 participating countries is making a tremendous job of promoting activity and stopping the trend of putting ever more people on disability insurance permanently. My firm belief is that Europe and the world can and should revert this negative trend. I know the new British government is targeting these issues and is now at the beginning of a very long and difficult process. I can also say that the present Swedish government has made rehabilitation and helping people back to work a top priority. The results in this area of Sweden are quite spectacular and not only positive for patients involved, but also actually an important factor explaining the rapid economic rebound after the international economic crisis. Thank you very much. Now I look forward to a very important and interesting conference here in beautiful but somewhat rainy land.